Have you ever noticed how arguments seem to go in circles? Voices get louder, tempers flare, and at the end, nobody truly wins. Maybe you felt that heaviness after yet another heated exchange, wondering, why do I keep wasting my breath? If that sounds familiar, I want you to know this. Today's lesson is a gift of freedom, of peace, and of strength. It's the Stoic art of silence. And if you stay with me until the very end, I promise you'll leave with a tool that could change the way you handle conflict for the rest of your life. The Stoics, Marcus Aurelius, Seneca, Epictetus, were no strangers to conflict. They lived in times of political tension, betrayal, and constant challenges. Yet they discovered a paradox. Silence often achieves more than words ever could. To them, silence was not about weakness, but about wisdom. It was about knowing when speaking only feeds the fire, and when silence can extinguish it. Think back to the last argument you had, maybe with a partner, a colleague, or even online. How much of it was about seeking truth, and how much was just about winning? That's the trap. We get caught in the need to win, and in the process, we lose ourselves. The Stoics would remind us, no one can make you lose your peace unless you hand it over. And silence is how you hold on to it. One of my clients, a woman in her 60s, once told me about her grown son. He had a sharp tongue, quick to challenge her on everything from politics to how she cooked dinner. For years, she fought back, every conversation turning into a battle. But one day, she tried something different. She listened. She stayed quiet. She didn't take the bait. And to her surprise, the energy shifted. Her son grew calmer. Without someone to push against, his own heat died down. Later, he told her, "Mom, I actually felt heard today." That silence opened a door that words had kept shut for years. Here's the truth. Silence doesn't mean surrender. It means choosing not to waste energy on battles that don't matter. It means keeping your dignity while others lose theirs. And it means saving your voice for the moments that count. Because when silence is your default, your words gain weight. I want you to imagine this. Someone hurls an insult at you, sharp and cutting. Everyone expects you to snap back, but instead, you take a breath. You say nothing. You simply stand in your strength. That silence speaks louder than any comeback. It says, I am not ruled by you. I am not ruled by anger. I am free. This is just the beginning of the gift the Stoics left us. And I encourage you, don't stop halfway. Stay with me until the end of this video, because the final piece of this reflection may be the one that changes how you see every argument for the rest of your life. And before we go further, if you find value here, if you want to carry more of this kind of strength into your daily life, please take a moment to like this video and subscribe. That way, you won't miss the next lesson. And together we can spread a little more calm in a world that desperately needs it. There's a little story I once heard. Perhaps you've lived through something similar yourself. An old man, gentle and quiet, spent his whole life in a small village. He was known for being a man of few words, someone who rarely argued with anyone. One day, a hot-headed young man came to his doorstep and shouted, "You know nothing. You're always silent, always avoiding. People discuss and debate, and you have no opinion. What good are you, really?" The old man simply looked at him, smiled, and returned to tending his garden. The young man exploded. He thought the old man was mocking him. His voice grew louder, his insults sharper. Yet the elder said nothing. The silence was unshaken, like a mountain unmoved by the storm. The next day, when the young man's anger cooled, he suddenly realized something. His shouting had only exposed his own immaturity. The old man didn't need to win the argument, because he understood a timeless truth. Not every battle is worth fighting. It's such a simple story, but it holds a deep Stoic lesson. The Stoics often warned, "He who angers easily makes a fool of himself." Think about your own life. How many times have you been pulled into arguments that led nowhere? Perhaps with a loved one, over a careless word. Perhaps with a coworker, over a minor disagreement. And the more you argued, the more exhausted you felt. In the end, no one truly won. Only hurt feelings remained. Silence, to the untrained eye, may look like weakness. But in truth, it is an art. It is the art of choosing your battles wisely. The wise understand, not every conversation deserves your full energy. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You don't have to have an opinion about everything." Imagine a person walking through a busy marketplace, stopping to argue with every stranger who insults him. How much life would he waste? Yet the one who walks on in silence preserves his energy for what truly matters. Silence is not avoidance, it is strength. When you choose silence, you are quietly declaring, "I will not allow your anger to dictate my mood. I will not give your words power over my peace." Think back. When was the last time you chose silence? Perhaps during a family argument, when you realized speaking more would only deepen the wound. Perhaps in a meeting, when correcting someone too harshly would have only escalated tension. In that moment, did you feel weak or did you feel strong? If you reflect honestly, you'll see that was a silent victory. A victory not marked by applause, but by dignity. Because you refused to be dragged down. This is why silence matters. It is not just about avoiding conflict, it is about preserving self-respect. People may forget the words you say, but they will remember the way you held your calm in the storm. There's a story about the Stoic philosopher Epictetus that I often return to. He was once mocked by a man who tried to humiliate him in front of others. The man expected a reaction, anger, shame, maybe even a fight. But Epictetus simply looked at him, smiled faintly, and said nothing. The silence was uncomfortable, not for Epictetus, but for the man who mocked him. After a while, the man grew restless and left. Think about that for a moment. Who truly won in that exchange? The one who shouted, or the one who kept his peace? Silence has this strange power. It reflects the other person's character back at them. When you don't react, they're left facing their own anger, their own pettiness, their own emptiness. And that can be more powerful than any rebuttal. Socrates himself once explained it through a simple image. He said, "If someone offers you a rotten piece of fruit, why would you eat it?" In the same way, when someone offers you insults, you don't have to take them in. Silence is the act of refusing rotten fruit. Now, you and I both know it's not easy. When we're attacked, our natural instinct is to defend, to argue, to throw words like weapons. But the Stoics remind us that reacting in anger rarely brings peace. It only feeds the fire. As Seneca put it, the greatest remedy for anger is delay. And silence is that delay. The pause that prevents a spark from becoming a blaze. Think about your own life. How many arguments have you had where, afterwards, you thought, "Why did I even waste my energy on that?" The truth is, most arguments don't resolve anything. They drain us, they harden resentment, and they steal our calm. But the times you've stayed silent, those are the moments you walked away with dignity intact. Silence doesn't mean weakness. It doesn't mean surrender. It means mastery. The one who can stay calm under attack has more control than the one who lashes out. It's like watching two people in a storm. One is flailing, shouting at the rain. The other is steady, walking on. Which one do you want to be? And here's another thing. Silence makes your words matter more. If you only speak when necessary, when your words are chosen with care, people listen. They remember. In a noisy world, the rare voice carries weight. Let me give you an example. A friend of mine once told me about a meeting at work. Everyone was arguing, voices rising, trying to prove they were right. But one man sat quietly, listening. At the very end, he spoke just one sentence, clear, precise, undeniable. And suddenly the room shifted. All the noise stopped. That's the power of silence. It sharpens the moment you finally choose to speak. So the Stoic practice is this: learn the art of choosing. Not every battle deserves your words. Not every insult requires a defense. You are free to stay silent, to keep your peace, to walk away with your energy intact. That's not retreat, it's wisdom. And the next time someone tries to drag you into an argument, remember this: you don't have to play their game. Silence itself is a victory, a quiet one, yes, but the kind of victory that leaves you stronger, calmer, and more respected. Because in the end, silence is not the absence of power. It is power under perfect control. Before you go, let me leave you with a question. When was the last time your silence spoke louder than your words? Think about it, and share in the comments if you'd like. And if you found something valuable here, something that makes you pause and reflect, please give this video a like and subscribe to the channel. That way, we can keep walking together through these timeless Stoic lessons.